Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some
Nick
fun.
Collier here. Another day is come and gone, and we're still working on this. Today we need to make 3 shoulder bolts, and I'll show you what they look like. Hang in there. Be right back. All right, we're going to start with these big honkin' Allen bolts, and basically just turn it down to a certain shoulder size, and then throw some threads on the end, and we're set to go. So that's hopefully a fairly easy project. And I think what I want to do is let's put a center in that first, because thing's kind of hanging out there on its own. It looks like it needs some support. So, I mean, hell, we may as well just give it. That's pretty close to straight, as far as I can see. Let's go a little deeper. There we go. That should do the trick. Okay. Okay, let's start turning here and see what we can come up with. Looks like maybe we need to rotate this just a little bit. I'm thinking this lathe is just not strong enough for insert bits. So we're going to take this out and put a regular carbon bit in and see if maybe it cuts a little better. A little better, but it seems to be having trouble here doing something. I think my pulley down below, the belt is not, it's worn out enough that it's starting to hit the bottom of the pulley, and not actually get that taper action. So we're gonna go down and have a look. Okay, looking at that pulley, you can see that the wear on the inside of the pulley, on the tapered part of the pulley, is almost down to nothing. And look up at the belt a little bit, and you can see that the belt is starting to hit the bottom of the pulley. So that means that the whole thing is slipping, and it doesn't get in the grip that it needs. And I just got through tightening it, so that's not going to help. So I think what we're going to have to do is put a new belt on this. I mean, you know, they just don't make them like they used to. This belt, it's only 30 years old, and come on, it's worn out already. What are we doing here? So I think it's time for a new belt. All right, well, I pulled down a stack of belts, and I probably have, well, if you look back up in there, you see there's a bunch of belts up there, and I got a bunch of belts here that I got at a garage sale, oh, I don't know, a couple of years ago. They just been kind of laying around. And I matched up my belt to the first belt that I grabbed, and it is, I think it's exactly what we need. So I'm going to pull this belt out of the stack and see if we can match this up with the pulleys. All right.
Yeah, the belt worked great, and so it's about an hour later. We've dinked around with it, adjusting everything and getting it all set up, and then we're back to machining. Okay, so here I've taken a 3/8 die and run it up against the drill chuck face on the tailstock to keep it square and to keep the threads nice and even.
So what I've done here is I've ran the die in till it bottomed out. Now I'm taking it back off and I'm turning it around and running it in the other way till it bottoms out. It'll give me just another thread or two, which is I really want to get all the way to the bottom on this one. Okay, well, the next part of this whole approach is to take this bracket that we've already made and make another one just like it, and then make another one in the reverse of that, because one of the motors comes from the left-hand side of the car and the motor is reversed. So the way I want to do that is bring this up into the corner, mark my lines, and then carefully rotate this down without moving it. Put a hole in the center, and each of our other holes and that should do the trick. And then we got to remember to bend it from this side. All right, now the next one, let's see if we can do it from over here. All right, let's cut out our pattern. And this is in stainless, so we're going to drop all of our scrap into this big bucket here. Hey, well, Nick Collier here again. It's a new day. It's cold as hell out, and it just started raining. Of course, not cold enough for snow, but it still feels very cold in this barn. And so I have extra layers on. Today we're going to come in and we're going to start shaping out these 3 pieces of flashing that we made the other day. And normally I would just take it over the drill press and drill out the holes. But the reality of it is that this is 316 stainless, harder than hell stuff. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the angle head in, and I'm going to put a mill bit on, and I'm going to cut that slot. And I'll show you the slot. This slot right here. And then we're also going to come back in and we're going to cut the hole in the center. So, and the thing is that on the mill we can do real slow movement and not burn out bits. So we're going to do that. Hang in there with me. I'll be back. Now what I've got here is a bit that's just chewed to shit. I think I dropped it at one point and just snapped off a couple of tips. But we're not using the tip. We're using the cutting edges on the side, so it'll be perfect. All right. Bring it in a bit. Come on. There we go. Come down just a little bit. I think that's going to be just about right. Except we don't have enough room here, so I think, what can we do with that? That's not going to work. We can extend it out a ways. It's going to be a bit chattery though. You know what? I think I might just put a couple of parallels in between that. Get them all the way out to give it some support. Okay, a couple of parallels, big old honking suckers. And let's take this in just a little further. Bring this out. And bring our parallels together. Now we don't have enough room over here, but that's not too bad. We can slip out. That looks pretty good. How much room we got? Now I think we need to come out just a little further. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. That might be going backwards. It is going backwards. That's better. We got chips flying now. And let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I think we got ourselves a nice little groove going there. And let's see how it fits the other one. It's a little bit narrow, but I mean, you know, almost not noticeable. Let's try it out on the... Yep, it's gonna fit. All right, so our next move is to put our center hole in. Ouch, that got hot. And I am not sure how we're going to do that. How far can we go over? Geez, we made it. I mean, it's hitting. Not bad though. Okay, let's take the bit out. I'm thinking we could come in with that. It's a little oversized, but I think this would work a lot better than trying to drill it sideways like this. So let's take this out. And we're going to take it over to the drill. All right, so with stainless steel, you got to go real slow. You got to use lots of oil and just take your time. So let's do that. All right, where's our center? Center of our hole is right about there, is that right? I'd say right about there. There we go. Got ourselves a hole. Now we need to drill about 6 more, the small ones. You got a rag. Okay, 5 more. One there, there, and probably one behind there. So, a reasonably sharp drill bit. One that you don't mind wrecking, because definitely that's gonna be what happens here. Uh-oh, too small. All right, glove to protect my hands. Close this up a bit. There we go. We'll get it started, then we'll put it on. All right, so we've notched out our plate, we bolted it in place on the motor, and now we're going to see how it's going to fit. Let's get that up there. We'll put the shaft together. Let's get this out someplace where it's out of the way a bit. And that notch needs to go onto this bar here. And it looks like it fits pretty well. We'll get our axle lined up. And the notch fits, but of course it doesn't go around it. So we have to bend this out a little bit. I put a line right in there, you can see it right there, to where I want to do the bend. So, all right, we bring it over to our little Harbor Freight brake here, and we're dealing with fairly thin material, so we can use this brake. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to come in just a little closer to the relief here, so that it doesn't bottom out on the base there. So we're just going to bring it in. Oh, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of an inch or so. Okay, a quarter. Tighten it up, and we'll just bend it over. And there we got ourselves a reasonable bend. Hang on, we're gonna go over to back to the... All right, let's put it back on the motor. And I always screw up and can't remember how it goes on. Okay, somewhere in here, there it is. Nice and snug. Bring the wheel back up to it. Swing it around and put it in place. And it looks like it wants to sit right there really nicely. And do we have some bolts? I know we do. The question is where are they? There it is. Fits real nice, good and snug, good fit. All right, we got one more to do. Oh! All right, we got a reasonably free-flowing set of wheels here. And our motors are all locked in, although this one's a little looser than I'd like it. But I think what we can do is we'll build something to kind of lock it in on this side so that it's not wiggling around. And I think what the next thing to do is to build the locking mechanism that locks the motor to the wheel. We're going to have to find a way to connect this gear with the wheel itself. And so I think what I've done is I went in and took a few measurements, and now we need to go in and design a little connector joint for those two pieces. So we're going to go inside and do a little paperwork. We'll be back. Okay, let's lay out the design for this thing and see what we can come up with. We did a rough sketch here. We're just going to do another rough sketch, but I laid it out on the table here, and it turns out that it needs to be a little bit different in order to make it work. So we're going to just do another rough sketch here and come up with some kind of design. All right, well, we found a piece of 2-inch material, and we're going to cut 3 segments out of that. There's one part here that's just slightly welded. Hopefully that's not going to be an issue. You know what? I just don't even want to hassle with it. These slugs, and we're going to flip them because this side's already machined, and we're going to put it in the little lathe. And let's put a couple spacers in here just to kind of get us spaced out. There we go. lock it in place, spin it, looks pretty good. We're going to come in and take about, oh, I don't know, 30 thousandths off of this. And I don't know if you can see it from there, but that center hole is a little bit wobbly, and I'm thinking that the drill bit went off just a little bit. So I think what we're going to want to do here is come in and bore out that hole just a few thousandths. It's not a critical bore because it's the major diameter of the tooth. No, minor diameter. So that'll be, it really can go anywhere. And in fact, remember, this is not a gear that is going to be spinning. It's basically a spline. So we'll just kind of clean it up a little bit, just so that when we take a measurement, we can come in and, I mean, when we center this thing, that we can come in and it'll be centered. All right, so I already did the first two, so the third one is done, and now we go in and set up the jumping jack and shape those gear teeth in. But that is for another day. It's lunchtime.